Afternoon. How are we all doing? Afternoon, going in backwards order today, Reverend. Lippy, Brian, Danny, Gregors, Alex, Mumo, Evil, Amy, Steve, Ian. How are we doing? Not many in here. It's Friday afternoon. Nobody's ever around on Friday afternoon, including the banks, it seems, today. Afternoon, Rico. Champagne. So it's going to be quite a quick one this afternoon, Senji. I'm not going to trade indices this afternoon. Indices were totally flat today. I've got a platform open. So yeah, totally flat indices today. Come on, wake up. Why is it not loading? Okay. Oh, there we go. Yeah, the market is totally sideways today. So there was no trades today on the DAX or the FTSE. It's just not moving basically today for some reason. We've got this big old gap on the DAX to fill as well. There was no trades on those two this morning. The pre-market ranges were too small, and the 5-minute opening ranges were about a third of an ADR, absolutely huge. So there was no trade on there this morning. These are going sideways at the moment. So I've decided not to trade them today because these ranges are so unbelievably tight during Globex today, and we had this massive great rally that got put in yesterday. I didn't manage to get out of the hedges yesterday. They were losses on all three yesterday. So all three losses yesterday. All hedges basically. So I have actually put on a short on the NASDAQ, just a small short, which is in DD at the moment, just to see if we get this gap fill done. I don't think it's going to do it today, but it's kind of a speculative move for a couple of days just to take a short. So I'm not going to trade those today because I don't think there's going to be an awful lot of action. So it's a no news day today. Bank holiday in Japan. So there's a lot less liquidity during Asia this morning. There's no news for the whole day. There's no news on Monday coming up. So yeah, it's all a bit flat. So if you want to see an overview of FX, this morning's live room, basically I covered what's going on in the live room, but I will go through the accounts in a second. But there's nothing to analyze. There's no ADRs. There's one RSI, which is euro pound. That's it. So, there's just nothing happening at the minute. We are stuck in these kind of a week-long range. The US dollar yen, we're waiting for the Japanese to do something. That's stuck now after the initial push. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, day 8, sideways. This morning, this is an absolute typical example of what we're going through at the minute. Big push up this morning, took yesterday's high, back to where we started. We're not going anywhere above this 150 level. The Japanese are going to kick it into touch if the US dollar rallies, and the US dollar's got no news catalyst to rally it. So it's just stuck. So I spent all morning basically just working on back testing on the new position trading EA, trying to get into drawdown, and I can't get into drawdown. I keep pushing buttons trying to get myself into drawdown, and all I'm doing is banking profit, unfortunately. But so I'm just trying to test the drawdown control functionality on this, but I can't actually get anything into drawdown. I need to get to 3% of drawdown, and I can't on anything. Anyway, so yeah, news today. There's not a lot. We had the German GDP final figures, which we kind of knew this morning anyway. Holzman said early morning they won't cut the rates on the euro before the Fed cut their rates, which is going to be June. At the moment, it keeps going back a month, but so no changes on the European rates until June. So that leaves the euro in a neutral stance, the same as the US dollar, until June. If we go through this type of trading for 4 months, it's going to have to pull my hair out. But anyway, so we'll see. Apart from that, not a lot today. A March cut is out of the question, and April is unlikely. There you go. So that's the ECB confirming that it's a minimum of May, but as the Fed have now said, June. So we're not cutting rates in the euro or the US until June. The pound is not going to do that either. So there we go. First rate cut in June. So confirmation today that we are going to stay in these hideous sideways markets for potentially the first half of this year, which is going to be horrible. But nothing much we can do. Afternoon, everybody else. Who have I said hello to? Not much movement, yeah. Afternoon, FT.net, FTnet is met, Crom. So, so there's no ADRs to look at, no RSIs to look at. I covered all of this in the live room. I'll quickly go through it now as well. But due to the drawdown on the accounts at the moment, I've put... Oh, what the hell? Let's just quickly see if the RR breaks. So we are sort of breaking. There's your 5-minute range. So you have got a break to the upside on the S&P. Got a break starting on the NASDAQ as well, and the Dow is trying to break as well, but not a lot of conviction. So you watch. This will be the day that all three of them just fly up to 5R. You guarantee it. Yes, I covered all this in the live room this morning, but basically I've done some drawdown control today on H1M5. So the drawdown control that I've done is, is that in order? Yeah. Pound yen, basically, so far. So obviously, because I did the drawdown control there, it immediately turned tail and ran. Which is obviously typical, but that's the drawdown control. So I've taken 2 positions off the pound yen to reduce drawdown on the yen because it was getting too big, too heavy. So I'm not comfortable with it, but it's better than it was. The US dollar yen, I've also got aggressive drawdown control. I've also got drawdown control on that ready to go as well. So I'm giving this the weekly high. If that weekly high breaks, I'm going to close out 2 of these as well to shut down half of that position. Just because we are stuck, you can see this is a really good view actually of it, what is going on at the moment. Push, sideways, weeks. Push, sideways for a week. Up a little bit, sideways for another week. Push, sideways for 2 weeks. That's literally the price action that we're achieving at the moment. You can't trade it. It's just untradeable. You can't do anything with it. It just literally is a news event. Nothing. A news event. Nothing. A news event. Not even a news event. We pushed up 1 ADR. Nothing. So I can't get out because there is no market structure. So all I can do is take hits on them. So I'll be scaling out half of that. So if that happens, obviously, at the moment we are pushing down. And we haven't broken last week's high this week. So if this, today will be the high of the week. If Monday we start to push down towards these lows, obviously I won't need to do that drawdown control. There's nothing I can do with it. So everything else on the account, no problem at all. Everything's just normal. It's within 2% drawdown. It's just this move on the yen that is just stuck. So I am doing DD control. Month isn't going to be great, obviously, as you can see. So, and next week is the last day of the month. However, the Japanese could intervene on Monday, and I could be sitting in 25% of profit. We'll have to wait and see. There was no news overnight from the Japanese either, and you wouldn't expect them to, because since they said, "Oi, stop pushing us, otherwise we're going to intervene," the market's gone nowhere. So. They've shut up because obviously they've got what they wanted, the yen being stable. So the ADR reversal account, same story. I've closed out 3% off of that this morning, which was pound yen again. So closed out a pound yen position. Obviously, as soon as I did, it started to drop. Euro Swiss, because the Swiss franc has been massively weak. Funny enough, as soon as I closed out that position, literally within 10 minutes, the entire market dropped 3/4 of an ADR. Always the way. As soon as I get out, look at this. There's my 2 aggressive drawdown control stops from yesterday. Bang. There's my drawdown control this morning. Bang. Always. I can guarantee you on Monday, this thing's going to be 2 ADR lower than it is now. And I'll be able to get out of the whole thing with an ugly profit. But I can't hold that. So I've got to get rid of it, get rid of some of the pressure. There's another, that's Euro Swiss from yesterday. So that's the DD control from that account today. Everything else is fine, apart from the pound Swiss. So there is not an aggressive, a drawdown control on the pound Swiss there. So if this pushes up towards ADR today, I'm going to close that. And the other one was the Euro Swiss. So the main problem on this account is, oh no, that's the Euro Swiss. Main problem on this account is the Swiss franc rather than the yen. So again, Aussie Swiss will close out. So if this Swiss franc continues to weaken, basically, we've had a reversal alert. So it is starting to strengthen. But if it does weaken further today or on Monday, I'll be closing out a load of that as well, which will be a shame because it'll ruin the month. But this is too high, far too high. So got to get rid of some of the pressure. So it's either going to basically, it's all going to hinge on Monday, really. Monday is we start to make some progress with these pullbacks. Fantastic. If not, it's going to be a flat month, basically, which will be a shame because January was fantastic. But horses for courses. And the hedging account, I've closed out 3% of that today. That's still up 32% on, well, 31.5% on the month. So that's still made a fortune. But it's in high drawdown. We know this goes into high drawdown. So I've decided to scale out of some of this as well. If it pushes again. So mainly it's Swiss franc here. It's the New Zealand dollar Swiss, the New Zealand dollar yen as well. I'm going to close part of that out. But again, we've gone nowhere today. So I'm hoping this move is going to start to roll over on Monday. Or the yen will just get rallied. So, but everything else on this account is absolutely fine, apart from the pound Swiss. And I think I've got, so there's the exit on the pound Swiss. So as that pushes up today, I'll be exiting that one. But other than that, we're just waiting, literally just sitting here waiting for the Swiss franc and the yen. That will close out in a minute, that Swiss yen. Oh, as if by magic. Oot. Very nice. Desperately trying to get into drawdown. I can't. It's funny, isn't it? All the main accounts in drawdown. The demo, well, it's not a demo. This is a $1,000 play account that I'm testing the EA on. Try to get this into drawdown. Bloody thing won't go into drawdown. Anyway. So there's nothing else much to report today. So if there's anything you want to look at, let me know. But I didn't do much analysis this morning because there's nothing to analyze. Yeah, this is what the dashboards are for, to alert me to what is moving so that we can trade it. It's just not moving. So we can't do anything at the moment. Let's see what those indices are up to. Yeah, I mean, they're stalled out, look. So we're probably at 1 hour, aren't we, on all the indices, and they're stalled out again. So they might get a rally today. Looks like the NASDAQ wants to try and go. The Dow's stuck. So that's the 5-minute open. Nope, sorry, that's not a 5-minute open, is it? Should have had the EA running, shouldn't I? There's your open. So it's looks like it wants to try and run again today after the back of this. So we'll see. We will see, but I'm decided to give it a miss today. That NVIDIA has pushed the market. Yeah, so the NVIDIA earnings certainly helped a lot yesterday on the NASDAQ and the S&P and the Dow as well. Yeah, everything got a very good rally off the back of that NVIDIA earnings. It's amazing what one stock can do. But if you look at it, it's the fourth largest stock in the NASDAQ and equates 5% of the total volume for the NAS. So this is why this is very important to understand that, you know, yes, there's 100 stocks in there, but they are not equal. When Microsoft says something, it's got 10% of the movement of the NASDAQ in its belt. So has Apple. Yeah. So if these two on the same day decided to announce new products, 16% weighting or 17% weighting on the NASDAQ would shift. So you would get a huge rally. And NVIDIA makes up 5% of the movement on the index. So that was a big win for NVIDIA. So it's amazing when you look at this now. The stocks in here, all these other stocks, like it's the top 100 stocks. If you look at the top 10, yeah, going down to Alphabet, to Google, yeah, Google only makes up 2.4, and then the other bit there, 2.5 of the weighting on that, and then everything else is like 4 to 8% above it. Then when you start dropping below these things, when you get below the top 25, they've got less than 1% chance of moving this thing. They make so little impact. You know, if Workday, for example, was to suddenly double its earnings, probably wouldn't even bat an eyelid. This is like the retail traders of the Forex world. Doesn't matter what you do, you're not going to move the index. It's these guys at the top which make the thing move. So, yeah. So no one's got anything to look at. There we go. I guess scammers don't watch the live room. Someone posing as you trying to chat me up on Telegram. Yep. Yeah, we know that. You've mentioned this many times, haven't you? If it's the same person, are you the person in Telegram that keeps saying about the scammers? And we keep telling you. No, I think it was someone else, actually. Might not be you. I don't know. But yeah, there's a message goes out daily. Yeah, it's also pinned. So this message goes out in Telegram every single day. It's also pinned at the top, so you can't miss it, with whacking great red lights saying warning about scammers. Yet people still seem to somehow miss it. Can't really do anything else apart from post it every 5 minutes, but then it would just be a long Telegram channel full of me saying, watch out for scammers. But at least you've identified it's a scammer. So have some fun with them. Lead them along as far as you can so that they either give you their email address or their crypto details, because they don't accept real money, because obviously they're Russian gangsters. And then block and report them. Nothing else you can do. Your broker see that you close your position. Yes. It's always the way. I said it this morning in the live room. Yeah, I said it. I say it every time, and it's the same every time. It happens every time. It happened to me on oil last year. I took a 9% loss on oil last year on a position which I was in for weeks. The next day, the thing shot 200 ADR. Yeah, I was buying it. I got out and went, screw this. This is too much. I'm too deep. I need to be out of this. Flew. You watch this yen on Monday. You're down there. So will the Swissy. It's just the way it goes. This is why they call it a squeeze. Yeah. The banks squeeze the market. Yeah. It's difficult for them to do this because after a certain period of time, you won't find anybody wanting to take the other sides of these positions. So the banks naturally have to unwind their positions, because if I say I want to buy it and I'll buy it at any price, and everyone else up there is going, screw that, mate, I'm not buying this. It's coming down. They just literally can't push it up anymore because there is nobody to take the opposite side of the order, which is where the profit take move starts. That's why it starts. And that's how it starts. And that's why it goes so fast. you hear me say about the climbing up the stairs and falling down the elevator shaft. Reason being, you climb up the stairs as long as there's people willing to take the other side of your order. As soon as there isn't, you get out. And everybody else that's got in with you sees you getting out. Their P&Ls drop, so they get out. That makes it come down twice as fast. Then everybody that's late into the moves wants to get in the move. They make it move faster. So the drops are always twice as fast as the rallies, most of the time. We climb up the stairs, we fall down the elevator shaft. We're waiting for the elevator shaft, but that's the definition of the squeeze. Yeah. When everybody gets out, there isn't anybody left. So you can't do anything but do that. That's what happens. And it's always when I get out, because I'm always one of the last to hold the position, because I position trade rather than get stopped out all along the way. But anyway, somebody follow. There's a couple of people that have done this in the past, yeah. If you watch the live rooms, right, and wait until I'm in 3 positions, yeah, when I get into my 3rd position, jump in on the next one, and you'll be on position 4. You'll find that very rare I will get up to anything more than 6 or 7 positions at the most before something comes down. Because if you think about it, when I'm in 6 positions, something's moved 4 ADR, 5 ADR maybe. Yeah. So by the time something's gone up 5 ADR, not going to go much further than anywhere. It's not going to go any further than that, is it? Usually. I've seen 7 ADR moves. Very rare you get 7 ADR move without at least a 38 to 50% retracement off the back of it, because the market can't do it anymore. It's just there's no one left. So people have said it before. Wait for me to get into 4 or 3, then you jump in. You'll have a really easy time. I should do it myself, but then I've got no one to follow. I can't follow somebody else and get in on with their 3rd or 4th position because I'm not watching anybody. My other prop firm changed servers and closed all my positions. Sent me an email giving me 12 hours notice at midnight last night. Excellent, Dougal. Prop firms are not crooks. They're totally legitimate, and you should definitely be using them because they're not taking all of your money, selling you a demo account for $500 and then manipulating price to make sure that you never get paid. They're definitely not doing that. Made myself dizzy then. Wow, that was weird. I think my eyeballs are still rattling around. Sorry, mate, prop firm scammers are also getting outed. It's falling apart. Run. Yeah, exactly. Afternoon, Kennelly. What are the thoughts on the US 30 and the US 100? I knew it's just not my week this week. So there's the open. So if you took the 5-minute ORB today, well done. You've got 2R. If you took the pre-market open today, well done. You've got 2 to 3R. I decided today I wouldn't bother trading. So, of course, it flew. So all I've done is get out of some losses today in Forex, and the market has collapsed back the other way as soon as I exited my positions, and decided not to trade the one thing that's moved and would have made me about $500 this afternoon. I think I might just go to the pub. It's one of those weeks. My thoughts on them, at the moment, they're rallying like crazy, basically off the back of earnings. So I would find it hard to be a seller at the moment. But then again, after a rally like this, some are going to want to get out of these positions, and it's whether or not they do it today. So I don't know. It's these instruments are momentum instruments as far as I'm concerned. There's absolutely no point in trying to predict the future on them. Go with the momentum. The momentum's north. You can run demo accounts, and when the EA is on the 3rd or 4th positions, you could jump on. That's not thought of that, Peter. That's a good idea. I think I might set an account up to do that. That's a good idea. The trouble is, you miss all of these beautiful one in, one outs. So you don't get the squeezes, but you also miss 80% of the profit. Because the vast majority of my positions are 1 or 2 trades. 3 sometimes as well. If it hasn't played out in 1, 2, or 3, it turns into a squeeze. So you miss all the bulk of the money. But you will also miss the squeezes. That's not a bad idea. I've not thought of doing that. I should have a demo set up, and we can call it the Eyes on Lee account. A good idea. 8cap is ceasing trading for the 29th of Feb. Really? Are they now? 8cap are ceasing trading. You can still... Where did you hear that? I've not got a blog. Oh. They've had their MetaTrader license revoked as well. Shady brokers not allowed. Yeah, well, these are the guys that are behind half of the prop firms out there. It's a white label. I could start a white label prop firm up with 8cap. Well, I can't now, but I could have started one up very easily, very quickly as well. Worst broker on the planet. 18,120 all-time high. I got marked on NASDAQ. Already there. Oh. I'm not on this planet today, am I? I said I've come on at 2 o'clock instead of 2:30. And obviously the market hasn't opened. So I am getting into everything today. I say I'm not with it at all today. It's been one of those days today. So there you go. Now the market's open. I don't know what the hell I was talking about. Why did nobody tell me that the market wasn't open? You're all sitting there going, what's he talking about? But nobody said anything. And I was going, look, that's when the market opened. You're all a conspiracy. There we go. Now the market's open. And I wasn't going to trade it today, but it looks like I am now. So let's do it. Why not? So yeah, NASDAQ is up all-time highs. So if this breaks long, which it just has, I'll try to, that's going to take some movement to get that out of the highs today. We will see where that goes. Yeah, market, as Peter's just said, market hasn't opened yet. It's 226. Yeah. Oh, God. This is the trouble with coming on at different times. I'm confusing. This is the first week I've done this, so I'm confusing myself this week. Afternoon, Virginia. New traders are really lucky to have someone like you around. Aren't they just? Started trading in 2014 and only became profitable in 2018. That's about right. 4 to 5 years is pretty typical in my experience to get to break even. From another firm who uses them and are switching to Think Market. That? I don't know. I mean, 8cap I wouldn't touch with a barge pole. They're awful. Absolutely awful. Have I been already on a pint? No. It's going to be one of those days. It's one of those weeks. It's one of those months, February, at the moment. I was having a strange out-of-body experience when you were talking about the market open already, looking at the clock on the charts. Yeah. So next week, we're going to be on all sorts of weird and wonderful times because we've got news at 1 a.m. So we'll be on at 1 a.m. for the New Zealand. No, we won't. So next week we got GDP at 1:30 on Wednesday. So I'll do a 1:30 session. I'm just trying to stick as much as I can just to the news, just to make life easy, because there's no point in repeating myself, as I say, every day, twice a day. And this is what moves the market, and that's my main focus, FX. So 1:30 on Thursday for the CAD. We've got the German CPI figures as well. They don't come out at specific times, so we'll probably do a morning one there as well. But yeah, we'll be all over the place next week, I think. Okay, NASDAQ's out the high. Dow is tested the high and is dropping very quick. See where that goes. Afternoon, JC. Apex give 80 to 90% discount on fees. Any good? No. Well, yeah. I mean, it's really, really good, but they don't have fixed drawdowns. They have trailing drawdowns, so you get stopped out really easily on the account. That's why they give you 80 to 90% discounts. Yeah. Think about it, Sagar. The cost of getting these accounts, yeah, 100K for $207 a month. Oh, this is pitiful. Seriously, stop. How are you meant to read anything when it's moving? $207 a month. They give it to you for what? $30, $40? Yeah. Seriously think someone's going to give you an opportunity to get $100,000 in funding for 40 quid? They just want you to spend £40 with them as often as you possibly can. I used to trade with Apex. I was funded with Apex. And I used to trade 10 accounts at a time with Apex. My success rate trading with Apex was so small. I ended up spending more money on evaluations with Apex than I did with my Forex funds, because with my Forex funds, I had a fixed daily drawdown. And the trouble with futures is when the futures market opens, if you go long on the futures market and it rallies up to 3K profit, and then it drops down to 1.5K profit, and you close the position out there, you've drawn down 1,500 on your account. That's a fail. Yeah. So let's say, for example, you are brand new account. You go long. Your first trade goes 3K into profit, 1.5K into profit, and you close it there. That's a fail. Because they use a trailing drawdown of whatever the limit is, trailing threshold, 2750. So let's use this as an example on that account. You go long. It drives itself up to 5K, drops back down to 2K. Yeah, you haven't made any loss. You haven't taken any drawdown. You're sitting in $2,000 worth of profit. Fail. You drew down from the maximum that you got up to today by 2,750. But please, sir, I only took one trade and I made $2,000. No. That's not the rules. Give us another $40. All right. Try again. Oh, give us another $40. Yeah. Before you know it, you spent $500 and you haven't even got anywhere. Futures goes very quick. Futures is like playing on a slot machine. Yeah. I blew multiple futures accounts in the same day. You get in with one contract and it goes up, and you put another contract on, it goes up. You put another contract on and you're like, this is amazing. And then it will just suddenly go, boom, blow. Oh, hang on a minute. I haven't lost any money. No, but it drew down. Can't trade like that. If you're trading with micros, it's fine. But with micros, you'll take forever to get past anything. They have a very unique, and their payout system is terrible. I waited 3 months for a payment. And they only give you, I think it's $1,000 in month 1. I think it was 3,000 in month 2. So if you, let's say, for example, you have you hit 10 contracts long and it flies up and you suddenly go, holy crap, that's 15K. Yeah. First month, they'll only give you $1,000 of it. Then you've got to trade again within a certain period of time without breaking the rules. Otherwise, your account's blown. And then they'll give you 2K. Yeah, and you go, hang on a minute, I've made 15. So no, you only have 1,000 month 1. And month 2, you can have 2 grand if you survive, which you won't because you will get hit by drawdown. It's all a big scam, the whole lot. You can play it, but just, it is what it is. It's going to a casino. It's not, you can't make a living out of it. I know that. I'm an affiliate for Apex. And I see how many resets go through the people that have affiliated with me. I see a lot of them. I get paid $4, right, every time someone resets their account. I get multiple a day. So I know how many people are resetting their accounts. And why not reset it? It's only $20, $30, $40. Yeah, you can spend that down the pub. It's fun. But it's not something you make a living out of. When you would do demo and jump later, you can do bigger risk to substitute the missed half position trade wins. When you would do demo and jump later, you can do bigger risks to substitute the missed half position trade wins. I don't understand a word of that. Sorry. I used Brian, I used the 25K accounts 1-to-1, 1,500 drawdown to 1,500 profit target. Yeah. But you don't. The trouble is, Brian, you don't. I suppose if you can, you would get paid 1,000 out of that, wouldn't you? That's the thing. So you can draw out little bits, but like I say, it's not something you can make money out of as a living. This is the thing. All these prop firms have got all this small print. I traded with Apex. I started with Lilu when I was trading futures. I started trading with Lilu, who were brilliant. Then I moved over to Apex because they looked better, and it wasn't until I got funded with them and then made some money on the account, and I went, as I always do, right, I'm stopping. Give you my money. And they went, yeah, no problem. It's 1,000. It's like, I'm going to make 3. No. Read the small print. I was like, looked at the small print. You won't actually get your entire earnings out for a quarter, and you have to continue to trade without going wrong. It's impossible. In the same way as all these prop firms that offer you the opportunity to scale the account. There isn't anybody on the planet that's held a prop firm for more than 3 months. So how the hell are you going to scale it to 10 million? You can't make it past 3 months. No one's done it because they're spreading you out. It's just, it's all a big smoke and mirrors thing. Well, no one that I know anyway, put it that way. And if somebody had done that, they'd be shouting about it. I'm in Discord. I'm in every single channel in Discord for every single prop firm. Not one person in there that's ever scaled an account that I can see. Because they get you. They get you with the drawdowns. We are breaking today by the looks of things. It's holding at the minute. So looking fairly bullish. So we might get a little rally today, which would be nice. Hopefully that will just pay me back for yesterday's losses. That is why I miss your everyday streams, because I've been seeing your trades on Trade Manager and play it that way. Now I have to set a demo to use FX Blue, but that is not easy to check. Yeah, that is BS, bloody hell. I must catch up on the chat while I'm talking, because I'm not sure what you were talking about, Sagar. The trailing drawdown, probably, I guess. Yeah, most of them work that way. One of the reasons that I recommend Oh my God, my brain's gone. I haven't got them on my page anymore. I've taken all prop off my site. Yeah, I haven't got them anymore. I've taken all the prop firms off my site, basically. I'm not interested. But the main one for futures I would recommend is Take Profit Trader. Yeah, these guys, if you want to trade futures, this is about as close as you'll get to a proper trading environment that doesn't have a trailing drawdown. So they have end of day drawdowns. So these are a much better firm, but you're not going to get an 80 or 90% discount. They don't do that. Yeah, they're not interested in giving you this for $20. They are giving it to you for $330. And there you go, end of day trailing drawdown. That's what you want. So if you're looking for futures or any prop firm, end of story, that's what you need, end of day trailing drawdown. So that is not a dynamic number. So when you get in, yeah, and it goes up by 3,000 and it comes down by 3,000, your trailing drawdown is from the open of the day. So that you can do what the hell it likes up here and nothing will affect you. If it comes down to here and then goes back up to there, not a problem. If it goes 2,000 below your starting balance, end of day, that's where you have your problem. Yeah. But you can't do that because you've got a daily loss limit of only 1,100. Yeah. So this is never, ever going to get hit because you will get killed by that, which is very small in futures. Very quick. Unless you're trading micros, which is what you really want to do in futures. If you're going to trade futures, you want to start micros. Otherwise, you get hurt. Peter, 1 to 2 positions. Oh, right. So, yeah, following my thing. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, when you would run a demo with the EA and then take your trades after 3 or 4 positions. Yeah. That is a really good idea. Of course, a better idea would be to take... There's 2 ways of doing this. Yeah, what you're thinking of. So the other way of doing it would be to take an RSI divergence trade. Yeah. So if you look at this chart, for example, when you hit RSI the first time, you ignore it. When RSI resets and price hasn't dropped, the second time it hits RSI, you take the trade. Divergence. Yeah. This is what divergence traders do. You need the discipline not to take that trade because that's where I've taken my first. My first didn't work out. The second one did. Yeah. So that's the other way you can do it. So like, for example, so you look at the RSI dash and you go, right, euro pound is extended. Excellent. It's extended to the downside, right? So I'm not going to go long. I'm going to wait X number of days, however long it takes for that to reset itself higher. When it hits the second time and gives us our W pattern on the RSI, that is when you take your trade. Or if you wanted to wait for the third hit, you could do it that way. Because if you think about it, it's the same thing. I would get in on that very first one here, right? You would have missed that because you weren't in with me. But if that had then gone down, I would have taken a second or a third position, and RSI would have at some point got extended for a second time. That's your in. You could build an EA to do that. So you could build an EA to say, when RSI is extended, when it moves back above RSI, set a counter, and if it goes back down below RSI within X number of days, X number of bars, X whatever, take a trade. And price is lower than the first RSI hit. That gives you some kind of divergence. Any ideas out there? More than one way to skin a cat, as they say. Not that I'd ever want to skin a cat, but apparently there's more than one way to do it. 1,500 per day period, which is twice a month for the first 3 months. Yeah, 1,500 per day period, which is twice a month for the first 3 months on the 25k. So you can keep the account. 3k is the monthly potential. Yeah. Yeah. See that that's fine if you want to play it that way. You can. I mean, it's just that's the way you got to work it, isn't it? Take profit trader is tough. End of day drawdown, but they have daily loss limit, which trails. No, the daily loss limit doesn't trail. The daily loss limit is the amount you can lose in a day. Don't think that trails. Might be wrong, but it wasn't when I was trading with them anyway. It was, you could lose 1,100 from your initial starting balance. So if you ran the account up 3 grand, you could run it down 3 grand, but you couldn't run it down 4 grand or 4,100 or whatever it was. Unless they've changed it. But I haven't traded with them for ages, so I wouldn't know. Afternoon, Hamza. We are stalling out a little bit on the S&P and the NAS. Dow's still trying to go. We're not making any progress, though, are we? Look. So, since the open, we are just back up at the open from 15 minutes ago. And we're not managing to make any progress, so a little bit tricky. I'm working at the moment on new logic for the SIHEA. So what I want to test, this is really for me to test, but I want to test, somebody contacted me a few weeks ago now in Telegram, saying they're having really good success with SIH with a 1R target, which is there, hit today on the NASDAQ, hit today on the S&P. And what they're doing basically is they're using 1R and 3R. So you basically take the first half off at 1, and then you break even, and then you target 3. So what they find most of the time is they get 1R and a break even, because obviously, as you can see, it's got to really slam through to that 3R quickly. But what happens is the aggressive drawdown control when you hedge kicks in at 3R, which is very easy to achieve. So if you look at a 3R on the NAS, for example, it's only there. Yeah. ADR is all the way up there and all the way down there. So it's pretty, I mean, remember 58% of the time the market stays within ADR. What they're playing is we're not going to get an ADR hit. We're going to get a very quick move at the open, which is going to pay me. Hopefully it will pay me twice. If not, it just pays me once. If I get hedged, we look at getting out at 3R with an aggressive drawdown control position. The problem with this is if you get hedged and then it goes flying up to ADR, you get a big drawdown on the account. So what I'm looking at doing is testing this person's strategy with SIH, but also putting a re-hedge on it. So we hit 1R, we managed to, we hedge, yeah, we then hit 3R, we get out of those positions there, use an aggressive entry, and then we re-hedge with another target of 2R. And if it pushes up and re-hedges us, we get out at 2R again, and then we try the exit again, and then we re-hedge again. So it's going to be a constant re-hedge type thing. But the logic will work in that we use 3R, and then if the aggressive doesn't work, we put 2R back onto it, which gives us 5R, which is the ADR of the instrument. So the chances of it actually needing to re-hedge itself twice would mean we need to be putting in a 150 ADR day. Don't happen very often, do they? Very rare. So it sounds like a solid logic. There's an 88% chance that will play out on every hedge because we won't get to 150 ADR. So it sounds mathematically good. So I've just started working on it this morning on the logic to code that into the existing SIH and give it a back test, basically, just to see what it would do. It will certainly stop any large losses on failed aggressive drawdown control attempts because you'd be re-hedging. And it would only then lock in 2 losses if it didn't hit ADR. That's the worst case scenario for the day, is a 2x loss. So sounds to me fairly good. The downside to it is with the current market conditions, we're seeing so many hedges because the market is just got no volume and no legs, that you might find that you're going to get 2R losses quite often rather than having the normal 1R loss, as yesterday. 1R losses across the board. That would have been twice as big yesterday. But today, we would already have banked 1R returns, wouldn't we? And we're just about to bank a 1R return on the Dow. So that would be 3 out of 3 today. Whereas at the moment, I'm sitting there with 3 trades on, no results. So I'm going to try it. It's quite complex to code it in with the way it works, but I'm going to try and code it to backtest it, and then we'll see. And I might just add that as another option. So I'll put an update out for SIH and add that as another drop down. Do you want to take re-hedges? But it wouldn't work if we were targeting 1R and 5R, or 3R, 2R and 5R, because it's just not going to get beyond 5R. But I find a lot of the time, as you probably do if you're using SIH, we don't get to that 5R target, which is why I adjust it manually every day. So when we get hedged, first thing I do is go, right, where's 5R? Up there today. And down here. So I would change that to a different level. But if you're just targeting 3R and it slams through 3R, at some point it's going to come back, and then you're going to lock in that much. So it's got a lot of potential, I think. Sounds good on paper, and they've been trading it manually. So I've got to code it in, but that's what I was playing with this morning. There you go. So there's another 1R hit there on the Dow. So I have noticed quite a few times as well, you do hit 1R easily, don't you? Yeah, that 5-minute ORB will quite often go 1R and then retrace. Might as well just take that. Better than nothing, isn't it? And the thing you can do with it, if we're only going for 1R, double the risk. So get in with a high risk on it, and you're going to get high reward quickly, or a hedge. See, I'll see how it goes. It needs back testing. Afternoon, Evans. Nobody's mentioned any FX pairs they want to look at, so we won't do any of that. It ain't going anywhere anyway. So no RSIs, no ADRs, and no news. So we'll be back on Monday, basically. I'm going to publish the updated live room schedule over the weekend. So this is something that's obviously going to change every week now. So I'll update this over the weekend, basically just look at the news, and I'll be rescheduling everything for news events. If there's no news events, then we'll come on roughly around about the normal times. But on no news days, I might just do one session. So you may not get an afternoon session. It might be a morning session only, or it might be an afternoon session only and not a morning one. I'll probably alternate them actually, so that there's we'll do one Frankfurt, and then the other news day we'll do a New York session. We don't mention Forex pairs because we're fed up with them. Yeah. At the moment, Singapore dollar try. If I could only trade it, Hamza. If only. I don't even have it. The Singapore dollar try. Not even in my repertoire. But yeah, Forex is just a pain in the backside at the minute. Just like pulling teeth, trying to get any movement out of anything. So I remember one of my well, not, he wasn't a mentor, it's just somebody I used to trade with in a Turtles group, and he's been trading for ages. Actually, he'd been trading for over a decade back then. That was about 10 years ago as well. And I remember him saying to me at one point, God, I remember when the market was so much easier. And I'm kind of thinking like he's thinking now. I'm thinking, oh, remember what it was like before COVID? How easy it was. And how easy it was post-COVID. Yeah, 2020, 2021. It's an absolute breeze. Everything was moving all over the place. This is just awful. It's been awful for months. But I know you were kidding, Hamza. I was playing along. Afternoon. Can we access your trading results on FX Blue? You can, yeah. Anyway, you all have a good weekend. I will enjoy Welsh. F something something G wet weather. Oh. Welsh friggin' weather. Wet weather. See you Monday, yeah. Right, I'll be back on Monday. I'll publish a schedule at the weekend. What's really on Monday? We've got new home sales in the afternoon. Let's do the afternoon. So Monday, I will do an afternoon session, not a morning session. Unless something changes with the yen. If the yen moves for any reason, I might change my mind. But I don't think it will. So I'll probably do a Monday afternoon. So we'll do a 2 o'clock on Monday. And then the rest of the week will just be revolving around news. But I'll publish that and I'll put it in all the usual channels. Hedge, NAS hedge target. I just leave it at 5R to the downside. I think. Do you know what I'm going to do? Dow's just approaching target, so I'm going to close out the Dow. And then I don't have to worry about a target because I've banked that. That's covered that hedge. So that's a break even. And the S&P hopefully will rally. If it doesn't, there's a hedge over there. That's how much I care about these markets at the moment. I'm just fed up with them. It's just undirectional. But if you want a target on it, I mean, the upside is impossible because we're at all-time highs. So you pick it. ADR is obvious spot because usually when it gets to ADR, it gets exhausted. So ADR upside. Downside, there isn't any. This entire move yesterday was pretty straight. So the only things you can look for are potential supports. Both of those are pretty much ADR and 125. So I would just stick with 5R and hope that we get a 5R. There's nothing you can do with it today. It's absolutely hideous. Again. Just one, listen, and you know, this is what this guy was saying. I hit 1R almost every day. And then you get 20 minutes of sideways action after the initial cash balance has gone in. Dow being the exception today, but that was the perfect time to exit as well. That's 1.5R. Yeah, we got 1R in the S&P. This is a nightmare, isn't it? S&P is the same thing, look. So S&P, all-time highs. So all you can do on the S&P, if that gets hedged, look at ADR. And downside, I mean, literally the origin of that move was NASDAQ, was NVIDIA earnings and continuation. So there is no target to the downside. You've just got to pick something to get out on. So I would go 5R because that is going to mean it's moved a long way before you get the retracement. Idea, you should do an inverse ICT account. Like the inverse Kramer for stocks, yeah. But you can't do that. That video about ICT mentioned a concept which people discuss. I will go in a minute. Mentioned a concept which people discuss a lot, which is doing the opposite to signal service, doing the opposite to what a strategy. 90% of strategies don't work. So if you do the opposite, you'll make money. That's the theory. But the problem with that is most strategies have a risk to reward ratio, and the reward is higher than the risk. Yeah. So if you flip the strategy, so say the strategy says to go short here with a stop there and a target down there, that's fine. So you go long there. But where do you put your stop? And where do you put your profit? Doesn't work, does it? Because your profit's there. That's not much. Your risk is twice as much. So if you flip it round the other way, yeah, when they say to go short, you go long, you're still probably going to get stopped out, and it doesn't work. The reason strategies don't work and the reason why you can't flip strategies is because everybody uses stop losses which are way too tight and are always going to get hit. Doesn't work. So if you did an inverse ICT account and when he got to a level and because he gets it wrong all the time, go the opposite direction, you've still got the problem of having to use a stop loss. And as the market moves up and down a lot like this, it's still going to get hit, regardless of whether you go long or short. People don't lose money in the markets because they get their entries wrong. They lose money in the market because they don't get out when the market's in a profit. Simple as that. They wait for it to go and hit their stop loss. If you use a fixed risk to stop out, that is what you're going to get, a stop out. So it doesn't matter what you do with it. It's like the signal services. So if somebody gives you a signal, basically wait and get in the other way. It's just going to go up and down. So it will probably hit their stop loss and it will hit your stop loss while it's doing that. Won't hit anybody's targets because the target's always too far away. That's why it doesn't work. As we know, if you've ever traded any strategy on the planet, that's what happens, isn't it? Inside bargaining on the Dow. We are holding the S&P, so fingers crossed the S&P can get a 2-hour run today. If the S&P, to be honest, if the S&P gets back above this level and we start getting up into here, I'm probably going to shut the S&P as well. I'll take that. I'll take a similar amount there, and that hedge is just paid for. And that's me done for the week. One of them weeks. So I'll be back on Monday. Have a good weekend, everybody. If you need anything, I'll be in Telegram or in Discord. And I will see you guys next time. Have a good weekend.